Chapter 33. The Ever-Important Question. Skydancer gurgled happily as she held Little Wing's large hoof in her own tiny ones. Little Wing was pulling all sorts of funny faces in order to amuse the fool, completely and totally doting over her young niece. The past week had been a tender one for the family, Rainbow Dash and Soaring having initially taken the foal back to their home in Ponyville to spend the week getting to know the little gal. Of course, Rainbow Dash had introduced Skydancer to her friends, all being quite enthused to the new arrival, before bringing her back to Cloudsdale a week later to visit the grandparents. So there they were, inside Windy Whistle's and Beau Hot Hoof's home. Little Wing had come over before Rainbow had even arrived, and she'd have been hard-pressed to keep her little sister away even if she'd wanted to. Skydancer was laid out on a colorful playmat, with her aunt and grandparents giving her all of their attention, giggling in delight at all the activity. Rainbow Dash, meanwhile, was laying on one of the sofas, just watching it all play out with a happy smile of her own. A few full toys were scattered around the living room, namely a few plushies that were predictably depictions of the current Wonderbolts, including both of Skydancer's parents. Though Little Wing had gifted a few of her own old toys for the little filly to amuse herself with, namely dolls of the 4 princesses of Equestria. Skydancer sat up onto her haunches, picking up a nearby Spitfire into her hooves and presenting the doll to Little Wing with a happy little full babble.
Why, thank you,
Little Wing chirped cheerfully, accepting the gift.
And what is Miss Spitfire going to do today?
Rainbow Dash snorted from behind her.
You make her sound like a school teacher. Then she's a scary school teacher,
Little Wing joked in response, before ruffling the foal's prismatic mane.
But nothing you can't handle, right, Skydancer? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you tell her.
Rainbow Dash rolled her eyes.
Well, at least it wasn't blah.
Little Wing smirked.
Actually, I plan to teach her that phrase someday. It is power, Rainbow Dash. You're ridiculous. Blah,
she simply responded.
All right then,
Rainbow Dash announced as she got up from the seat and parked herself right down beside her little sister.
You think I'm just gonna sit around while you teach my kid bad habits? She'll get enough from you. Pfft, I'm the face of responsibility. I think she'll be the judge.
Little Wing replied with a chuckle, tickling the oblivious foal with her wings.
What do you say, Dancer? Gonna keep your mama on check?
Skydancer giggled in response.
That's a yes. Nah, she's definitely sticking up for me,
Rainbow Dash denied, scooping Skydancer into her hooves and holding her close.
Don't listen to your mean Aunt Sky. She's just jealous.
Little Wing laughed.
All right, but only a little.
Well, perhaps you and Misty should get on fixing that, Beau jabbed slyly, getting the desired reaction of Little Wing blushing so hard the room heated up a few degrees. Do whatever it is you need to do to get your own, rascal.
Let's get tonight out of the way first,
Little Wing protested.
Speaking of, you need to get ready,
Windy Whistles pointed out, dragging Little Wing away from her niece and towards the doorway.
Your dress is all ready to go. Oh, I can't wait to hear how it all goes. Neither can I,
Little Wing muttered.
Mom, what if it all goes wrong? Misty loves you, dear,
Windy assured, draping a wing over her nervous daughter's back.
Just go through with what you've planned, and it will all work out. The best ever, in fact. Thought you might say that,
Little Wing said in amused deadpan.
I've never been as good at hiding my nerves as Dash. How does she do it? You know how she'd respond. By being awesome,
Little Wing recited before sighing.
I wish it were that easy.
Windy gave her daughter a light nuzzle, mixed in with a smile of reassurance.
As I said, it'll all be fine. But first we need to get you ready to go at all. Yeah. All right. What the hey? Let's do this.
Little Wing's insides fluttered alongside her wings as she laid eyes on Misty Gust, who was wearing a gray dress designed to match her coat, standing a little way from the restaurant's front entrance. Little Wing herself was wearing a dress more matching her eyes, working up the courage to take the final few steps out into the light and into Misty's view. The restaurant itself had some fancy name that Little Wing wasn't even going to try to pronounce. There was a griffin with a twirly black mustache greeting people at the door and directing them to their booked tables. It had been more than a little expensive to book even just a table for two, though Little Wing considered it well spent if it helped make the night the best it could possibly be. Misty spotted Little Wing through the shadows. She waved a hoof at her, giving her a questioning gaze as to why she was hiding in the darkness of the night. As far as she was aware, it was just a normal date Little Wing had set up for a nice romantic evening. She had no idea what Little Wing's true intentions were, and she had no idea why Little Wing looked well and truly terrified. But she couldn't stay there all night with cold hooves, so she imagined a familiar female human teenager kicking her up the rump and towards her date.
It's just a normal date so far, nothing unusual,
Little Wing muttered weakly to herself as she trotted on forwards with that new imaginary bruise stinging in reminder.
Just one step after another. That's right, come on, let's go. Are you talking to yourself?
Misty asked curiously, clearly trying not to laugh at the odd display from her mare friend.
Yes, I am,
Little Wing stated, not hiding the twitch of her eye.
So, are we going in? Are you all right?
Misty Gus asked in stirring concern.
You seem a little out of it. Fine? Me? Why wouldn't I be fine?
Little Wing blurted out.
See? Never better. Now let's go. If you say so, my brave Wonderbolt,
Misty Gus said, taking Little Wing's hoof in her own.
You look great, by the way.
And with that compliment, the fluttering overwhelmed the nerves.
You too, Misty. More than great. Awesome. Did Rainbow give you that line? It's not like she owns the word.
Little Wing retorted as they reached the griffin, giving their names in booked time. The griffin nodded, bringing up a list and scanning over it quickly and efficiently. It took about a moment to locate their names, and he directed them towards the table for two, as he had for countless other customers, and would with many yet to come. They trotted through the moderately filled dining hall, passing by some of the richer Cloudsdale families and other couples out for a night of romance. As they sat down at their table, the waiter very quickly approached to provide their menus and take any immediate requests. Both asked for a simple glass of water for the time being while they browsed, and it took only a minute for the waiter to depart and then return with their requested beverage. Confident that he had done his job, the Pegasus then departed to assist other customers.
You picked the fanciest restaurant in Cloudsdale,
Misty noted, taking a good look around the place.
You're being awfully secretive about tonight. What's the reason? Oh, no reason,
Little Wing denied.
Just, I think you deserve it. It's something nice and we haven't done it before. Well, that's very sweet,
Misty said with a smile, relaxing a little.
Sorry I wasn't able to come with you to see Skydancer. The library's gotten a whole new shipment and they couldn't spare me. So you said, it's fine,
Little Wing assured the cute gray mare she loved.
She's doing really well. And she's an angel. Definitely takes after me.
Misty laughed.
I'm sure. How's Rainbow Dash? Happy?
Little Wing answered.
I don't think she ever realized how much she wanted to be a mom until it happened. It actually suits her, believe it or not. I believe it. I don't think it's the father any future cult friends are going to have to worry about, though,
Misty quipped.
I can see her being a real mama bear. Yeah, I can see that too,
Little Wing agreed.
Celestia helped them all.
The two shared a hearty laugh over the matter before turning to their respective menus. They ordered a simple plate of shared garlic bread for the starter, saving room for the main course. When everything they desired had been ordered on the waiter's return, the starter was brought out post-haste before the pony retreated back to relay their wishes to the chefs. Each took a piece of the bread and took experimental bites. Finding it to their satisfaction, they continued to nibble on it as their conversation continued forwards.
So, did anything interesting happen while unpacking this shipment of yours?
Little Wing asked after swallowing a bite.
Any books I'd be interested in? Nope. Mostly romance novels and a whole load for the nonfiction section.
Misty Gust explained.
Pretty dull day, really. Though I did hear a few interesting things from my coworkers. Oh? Like what? I'm not really sure if I should say it here. Forget it. Oh, come on, Misty. Don't keep me in suspense. Well, okay.
Misty said, still unsure.
You remember the Sovereign Empire, right? What? You mean that whiny group of griffins that keeps poking up?
Little Wing inquired.
Wasn't Princess Twilight dealing with them? That's the thing. I heard that they attacked her.
Misty Gust replied, catching Little Wing off guard.
Or tried to. They apparently never actually got close. What happened? The princess was meeting with some griffin representative about the issue when they tried to storm the building.
Misty Gust continued.
No pony was too badly hurt. Not for lack of them trying, though. I heard that the princess was furious. I don't blame her. They have to put a stop to it all now.
Little Wing replied before she sat back with a groan.
And I just know the captain will use this to order extra drills. I'm sure you can handle it,
Misty said coyly.
Anyway, aside from that...
Their small talk continued on for a good while, before briefly being silenced by the arrival of their main course. They ate through it all at a steady pace, having a glass of wine poured each as they continued to converse. After the main course, they even found room for dessert, rich enough in chocolatey goodness to make even the hungriest of Pegasi satisfied. Then after all was said and done, they gave their compliments to the catering staff and made their exit. Each had a happy smile on their face as they left, remaining all but glued to each other's side as they laughed and giggled amongst themselves. But the night wasn't over yet, and Misty was more than a little confused as Little Wing pulled her aside and up into the night sky.
Little Wing, where are we going?
Misty asked as they flew amongst the cool, still air, a single cloud ahead of them sitting perfectly in Luna's light.
The house is the other way, remember? I know,
Little Wing replied.
But I need to show you something. I promise you'll love it. Okay, now I am curious.
Little Wing came into land on the well-positioned cloud, taking Misty Swift delicately as she followed suit. Bathed in moonlight, the two lovers sat close to each other as Little Wing traced her hoof along the entirety of the city below, showcasing the entirety of Cloudsdale, tinted blue by said light.
Like the view?
Scion Pegasus asked.
It's wonderful,
Misty assured, offering Little Wing a small but confused smile.
But nothing I haven't seen before. What's this about? Well, you haven't seen anything yet. Little Wing...
Misty yelped as Little Wing shot off the cloud and positioned herself beneath it, beginning to rapidly move it higher and higher into the air, with Misty still on board. Higher she lifted it, the floating city becoming more and more distant. Other clouds passed them by, and soon enough they were covered completely by a higher layer. And then there were the stars. The cloud came to a halt, Little Wing gently bringing herself back up to the side and next to a wide-eyed Misty Gust. All around them was that majestic kingdom in the sky that Rainbow Dash had shown her little sister many years prior. A landscape of pure cloud, spanning for as far as the eye could see. Looking up, you almost got the feeling that you were in the vacuum of space itself when presented with the night's pure embrace.
Never been this far up before,
Misty muttered, looking around the landscape in awe.
It's beautiful. Rainbow Dash took me up here once, a long time ago.
Little Wing gently explained.
So peaceful and quiet, untouched and immortal. No pony to bother us. The entire world to ourselves.
Misty took it all in, breathing slowly as she let the soft breeze wash over her. It was most certainly peaceful. The only other soul in sight was the warm body lying right beside her. Misty let out a breath, and then to look her mare friend straight in the eye.
And what exactly would two ponies do with the world to themselves?
Little Wing had anticipated this moment for a long time, playing it over and over in her mind, seeing all the ways it could go horribly wrong. She was at the very least expecting to choke on her own words. She didn't.
Marry me?
Misty Gust blinked, and for a moment, it seemed like a fuse had been blown inside her mind. The universe was silent and waiting, Little Wing not daring to even breathe as she waited for Misty Gust to process what had just happened. Fear and anxiety began to creep along her body, threatening to explode in an instant.
Yes.
Now it was Little Wing who blinked.
Huh? Yes.
Misty Gust repeated, looking upon her new fiancé with enough love to fill a changeling hive.
Yes! Yes, so many times, yes!
Misty glomped Little Wing as hard as she could, burying her head in her chest as she shed tears of joy. Soon, Little Wing's own tears were joining the mix, as they held each other in front of the entirety of creation itself. And creation approved.